Hello students, in the present lecture we will discuss about the concepts of light emitting diode, which is known as LED. So in my last lecture I have explained the topics of radiative and non-radiative recombination. So in the case of radiative recombination, we have observed that an electron which is coming from conduction band to valency band will emit a photon whose the energy of the photon or light is equal to the energy gap. So, and these phenomena happens only in the direct band gap of semiconductors, and we also learned that direct band gap of semiconductors are used in the manufacturing or fabrication of LEDs. So if you want any details regarding this radiative and non-radiative recombination, you please watch the video which is available in my channel, which I prepared for the topics of radiative and non-radiative recombination mechanism in semiconductors. So in the present topic, so we will discuss the concepts of light emitting diode. We will discuss LED device structure, materials which are used for the fabrication of LEDs, and advantages and disadvantages of LEDs, and what is the wavelength of light which is emitted from the LED diode. I mean, how the wavelength of light affected, or on which parameters the wavelength of light is depends on. So an LED is a direct band gap of semiconductor which works only in forward bias. So an LED is a PN junction diode. We can also say that an LED is a PN junction diode which is made up of this direct band gap of semiconductors. So the actual symbol of the LED is look like this. So it is an ordinary PN junction diode symbol, but the thing that is different from the normal PN junction diode is these two arrows, these two straight lines with arrows. So these arrows will represent the emission of light from the diode. So this diode is made up of direct band gap of semiconductors, and it will emit the light whenever this diode is connected in forward bias. Why? Because we have learned the concepts of PN junction in your previous in the previous units or in your previous classes, that PN junction works only or conducts only in forward bias. So this is the symbol of LED, but the real or practical symbol of the or practical structure of the LED look like this. So here a PN junction diode is placed in a epoxy domed lens, or we can also call it as a plastic domed lens, which is in the shape of hemispherical structure, and this PN junction diode is given connected to the two terminals, and you can observe that the cathode terminal is made shorter than the anode terminal, and this we will make for the easy understanding of easy identification of polarities. So the invention of the LEDs has changed the scenario of the entire engineering and sciences. Why? Because these LEDs will play a very important role in the communications, in our optical communications. So that is the reason LED is called as light of future. light of future. So this LED will works on the principle of electroluminescence. Electroluminescence. So which is nothing but convert this electroluminescence principle or concept says that conversion of electrical energy into optical energy. So an LED is an electronic device which converts the electrical energy into optical energy. So you can observe here, whenever we connect this diode to a external battery, then by gaining the energy or current from the external source, this PN junction conducts, and as a result it emits a light as a output. So electrical energy is converted into light energy, and this happens only when we connect this LED in forward bias. And one more thing is the emission of light and the wavelength of, in general we will denote the wavelength by the symbol lambda. The wavelength of light emitted from the LED will depends on the energy gap of the particular semiconductors. So as I said, LEDs are made up of direct band gap of semiconductors, and from our last lecture we came to know that direct band gap of semiconductors are mostly compound semiconductors. So in this diagram you can observe that the p-type extrinsic semiconductor material is placed over the n-type extrinsic semiconductor material, and you can also observe that the width of the p-type material is made lower than the width of the n-type material. This is because to eliminate the or to minimize the reabsorption of light. So to eliminate the reabsorption of light, we will make the upper semiconductor width lower than the bottom semiconductor, and at the bottom of this PN junction diode we will arrange a reflective coating. That means in our normal words we call it as a mirror. So we will provide a reflective coating. Why? Because to avoid the backward transmission of photons. And we can also observe in this diagram is that we are arranging some aluminum arrangement. We are providing an aluminum arrangement and dielectric layer, and this aluminum and the silver coating are connected to electrical contacts. And one more thing that you can observe from the diagram is that we are leaving the as much of area to escape the light from the PN junction surface. So this is the way we will construct, or we will place the PN junction plane in the LEDs. And then how the light is emitted, we will see that now. We all know that electrical energy levels of the PN junction diode. Let us consider this is p-type semiconductor and this is n-type semiconductor, and this is our valency band and this is our conduction band. And we know that in the case of n-type semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are electrons, and in case of p-type the majority charge carriers are holes. So whenever we connect a PN junction, I will give you a broad explanation regarding the PN junction P and N. Whenever we connect a PN junction in a forward bias, what happens? The electrons in the N type will diffuse towards the P type, and the holes in the P type will diffuse towards the N type, and as a result, within a very short period of time, a depletion region is formed in a PN junction of having a width of 1 micrometer. So this combination or this configuration is used in the LEDs. Now, so when this PN junction is connected in a forward bias combination, so the electrons are migrated here, are diffused to P type, and holes are diffused to N type, and as I said, a depletion region will forms exactly between the P and N. So holes will forms here, and electrons forms here, and holes will forms here. So, and from the topics of recombination, after spending some period of time, that is its lifetime, the charge carriers will the charge carriers will de-excites. So these electron will be de-excites and occupies the hole. So in this de-excitation, what emits? They emit the photons. They emit photons, not phonons. Why? Because the LEDs are made up of direct band gap of semiconductors, and these photons emission is our light coming from our LEDs. So finally, a direct band gap of semiconductor which is connected in forward bias will gives us the emission of light from the LED. And in the beginning of my lecture, I said that why we use this hemispherical structure. Why we use this hemispherical structure in the arrangement of LEDs means, the answer for that question is, see here the photons are coming from semiconductor region to an air region. So there may be a possibility of total internal reflection. There may be a possibility of total internal reflection, TIR. So to avoid the possibility of total internal reflection, so we will place the PN junction in a epoxy dome which is made in the shape of hemispherical. Next we will see the materials which are used for the fabrication of or construction of LEDs. So LEDs are made up of direct band gap of semiconductors because they will emit photons. So gallium arsenic will emit the wavelength in the region of IR radiation, and we can also find out the wavelength emitted from a semiconductor by the formula of, see, we know that from Max Planck theory, E equal to h mu, and mu can be written as C by lambda. What we need? We need the wavelength emitted from the semiconductor. So it can be written as hc by E, where here E we will consider it as Eg. So our formula becomes hc by Eg. So we know that h is nothing but Planck's constant, whose value is 6.625 into 10 power minus 34, and c represents the velocity of the light, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So substituting that values and calculating, we will get the formula for wavelength of the light emitted from the LED as 1.24 by Eg in electron volts units, and this wavelength is in the units of micrometer. So this is the formula to calculate the wavelength emitted from the LED light. And the different materials or different semiconductors will emit different wavelengths. So light coming from the LED is a characteristic property of semiconductor materials that are used in the LED fabrication, and this wavelength is also depends on the concentration of impurities. See, this can be easily understood by considering the example of gallium arsenic and phosphide. So if we maintain the phosphate configuration at the 40% and arsenic configuration at the 60%, then we will get a red light emitted from LED. If we change the concentration of arsenic and phosphide by 65% and 35%, then an orange colored light is emitted from the LED. So from these two configurations we can say that LED light wavelength is also depends on the concentration of impurities. And next, gallium arsenic is a very widely used semiconductor in LEDs, but it gives us the radiation in IR region of the electromagnetic spectrum, and this gallium arsenic is widely used in the fabrication of remotes. IR stands for infrared, and our eyes are not able to catch the wavelengths of IR radiation. Next, topic is VI characteristics of LED. So if we connect this LED with the help of resistor in forward bias, then we can able to plot the VI characteristics. VI characteristics are nothing but studying the properties of current with respect to its voltage. So on x-axis I will consider the voltage parameter, and on y-axis I will consider the current. So, and this is origin. So up to some point of voltage, the value of current in the LED is 0, and the value of voltage at which current starts flowing in the LED diode, we call it as threshold voltage. Students, you can observe the nature of this kind of graph in your respective physics labs by doing the experiment called VI characteristics of LED. And one more thing is the relation between the current and voltage is directly proportional. At the same time, the emitted light intensity is also directly proportional to voltage and current. So these are VI characteristics of LED. Next, merits. So we will study the applications now, or advantages. So we will see the advantages of LED. So the first advantage or application of this LED is the lifetime of LED is very high, in the dimensions of 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 hours. This is the first application. And next, these LEDs can be operated in a wide range of temperature from 0 to 70 degrees Celsius. And our third application is the response time. The response time of LED is very low in the dimensions of nanoseconds. That means response time, these parameters says that we can on and off the LED within a very short period of time. And one more thing is, these LEDs size is very small. The size of the LEDs is very small, so we can pack the large number of LEDs. All the circles represent LEDs, so we can pack the large number of LEDs in a small volume. So if you pack this large number of LEDs in a small volume, this will becomes a message display unit. This will becomes a message display unit. So this kind of message display units you might have observed in your life. One more application is, these LEDs will consume very low power. Power consumption is very low, and LEDs can be operated in the values of very low voltages, in and around 0.5 to 2 volts. And LEDs can also be used as the status indicators on the equipment, and they can also be used as message display units at the railway stations or airport stations. And one more thing is, these LEDs, one more application that all of you might have observed in your life is, these LEDs are used in the 7-segment display units. We call it as 7-segment display. 7-segment display. Why 7 means, you can observe 7 lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this each line represents an LED. So each dark line here, which is nothing but an LED. So we will connect this display to a battery or external energy source, and we will supply some energy. Whenever we will supply energy to only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7. Whenever we supply energy to only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7, that means these 2 LEDs will be off. Then we will get to know a symbol like this. We can observe a symbol, so which look like a 3. And whenever we off the power to only one LED, that is 7, and remaining all the 6 LEDs are getting current, then we can observe a symbol like this. See, this is not operated, so it looks like 0. So this type of arrangement which you can be easily observe in your calculators. So these are n number of applications which are there for LED. Thank you.